Ito ang Intercontinental Broadcasting Corporation. Sa bagong Pilipinas.
Ang susunod na programa ay rated PG. Patnubay at gabay ng magulang ay kailangan sa mga batang manonood.
Usapang totoo, walang halong panloloko. Mga isyong lokal at nasyonal, lilinawin ng buong tapang at may puso. Samahan niyo ako sa isang oras na makabuluhang talakayan at serbisyong mapagkakatiwalaan, kasama ang cabinet secretaries at opisyal ng pamahalaan. Ako po, si Lanao del Sur 1st District Representative Zia Alonto Adiong, at ito ang In ConverZation. In ConverZation. Ilan sa mandato ng Philippine Coast Guard o PCG ang pagtiyak sa maritime safety and security, search and rescue operations at pagpapatupad ng maritime laws. Aktibo ang PCG sa pagprotekta sa teritoryo at sovereign rights ng bansa sa West Philippine Sea. Today, let's get to know the current PCG spokesperson on the West Philippine Sea na itinuturing na youngest star-rank officer in the history of Philippine Uniformed Service. Paano ba nagsimula ang takbo ng karera bilang lingkod bayan ni Commodore Jay Tarriela? Panuorin po natin ito.
Mayat-mayang update at meetings. Ganito ang karaniwang umaga sa opisina ni Commodore Jay Tarriela, ang Philippine Coast Guard Spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea. 42 years old siya nang ma-promote bilang Commodore noong 2022.
Bigyan na natin lahat ng lahat ng ambassador, NSC, DFA. Sa DFA,
parang 5 office yung dati.
ASPA, American Bureau, stakeholders and other government agencies. Tapos pangatlo, diplomatic mission. Tanong nyo na kay attorney, kailan aalis yung barko,
Pati design ng imbitasyon para sa anibersaryo ng PCG Transparency Group, binubusisi niya.
Kahit nga lang yung pouch, ipagawa mo na. Ito yung pinapagawa kong invitation. Sabi ko, gusto ko to.
Bukod dyan, may iba't ibang engagement din siya sa labas ng tanggapan ng ahensya. Seminars, meetings, guest speakers sa events, interviews sa iba't ibang media outlets. Organisado at istrikto sa trabaho, pero sa likod ng kanyang matikas at matapang na imahe, siya'y madaling lapitan at kabiruan ng mga katrabaho. Sino nga ba si Commodore Jay Tarriela?
Favorite music? Ayoko na masyadong maingay. Gusto ko acoustic lang. Halimbawa yung mga tipong ayoko na masyadong madaming drums. Gusto ko guitarist lang. Yung mga tunog. Mga tipong Eric Clapton yung datingan. Wala akong talent ng musical instruments. Wala rin akong talent kumanta. Mahilig lang akong makinig.
Siya ay may graduate degree sa Philippine Merchant Marine Academy Graduate School, Master of Policy Studies sa National Graduate Institute for Policy Studies o GRIPS at Japan Coast Guard Academy. Nakapagtapos din ng PhD sa GRIPS sa Tokyo bilang Japan International Cooperation Agency ASEAN Public Policy Leadership Scholar.
Nag-PhD ako. Kaya hindi ko magets kung ano yung issue ni ng mga tao na mga trolls kapag sinasabing ano daw ba natapos ko, hindi ko daw natapos ang PMA. Hindi ko masabi nagdoktor po ako. Hindi pa po ba justifiable na yun na doktor ako?
Bilang PCG spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea, ginagamit niya ang social media para idetalye ang mga tunay na nangyayari sa West Philippine Sea at mga impormasyong nakabatay sa international law, maritime rights at pambansang interes.
I would never allow anybody, especially coming from a politician or social media influencer, to just let it pass kapag meron silang post that counters our own narrative. Like for example, magkakagera or maling tindigan ang Pilipinas dahil lahat ng binibili natin galing sa China, no? Or tayo mismo ang nagpo-provoke sa China, those kind of things.
Anya, ang bawat maling naratibo ay oportunidad para magpaliwanag. Ang bawat pag-atake, pagkakataon upang higit pang pagtibayin ang katotohanan.
Try to imagine kung yung politiko na yun may 2 million or 3 million na followers. Kung hindi mo sasagutin, baka yung 3 million na yun maniwala doon sa mga sinasabi niya. So, I don't intend to humiliate anybody. I just wanted to set the story right. Especially kapag ang pinag-uusapan natin, West Philippine Sea.
Si Commodore Jay Tarriela ay isang halimbawa ng makabagong uri ng lingkod bayan, kung saan ang kanyang pagmamahal sa Pilipinas ay hindi lamang nasusukat sa presensya sa karagatan, kundi pati sa tapang na ipaglaban ng bayan na ang sandata ay katotohanan, datos at malinaw na paninindigan.
Ano-ano ba ang mga plano, programa at hamong kinakaharap ng Philippine Coast Guard? Yan at iba pang mahalagang usapin. Sasagutin ni Commodore Jay Tarriela sa pagbabalik ng In ConverZation.
Very important. Sa tingin ko, hindi ko kayang magsalita on air kung hindi ako sigurado sa mga sinasabi ko. No? Truth is non-negotiable. It's only with truth that I can be credible and I can feel confident when I know that I'm speaking the truth.
Trabaho natin, i-share sa tao, sa publiko yung katotohanan. So, kung walang truth, wala ako dito, wala rito IBC, wala tayong lahat.
Ngayong umaga sa Doc True Ba, kayo ba ay mahilig sa maaalat na pagkain? Samahan pa ng madalas na stress? At mahilig pa sa tagay o pag-inom ng alak? Hinay-hinay lang mga ka-DTV dahil ang mga nakasanayang ito baka mauwi sa hypertension o high blood. Ano-ano nga ba ang mga komplikasyong bitbit ng hypertension? Ating aalamin.
Mayroon ka na bang mahal sa buhay na nakaranas ng stroke? Ano-ano ang pinakamainam na paraan kung paano ito unang aagapan at paano ito maiiwasang mangyari muli sa ating buhay? Lahat ng yan ay ating hihimayin kasama ang isang medical expert.
Abangan sa Doc True Ba ngayong linggo, 7:30 ng umaga. Dito lamang yan sa IBC TV 13.
Nagbabalik ang In ConverZation. Makakasama natin ngayon ang napakatapang at punong-puno ng pagmamahal sa bansa, ang Philippine Coast Guard Spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea, Commodore Jay Tarriela. Commodore Jay, magandang araw sa iyo. You're the youngest, no?
Yes, sir.
Na among these
The
uniform
flag rank,
service.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, flag rank. So, what actually prompted you? Just to know, alam mo, magkaibigan tayo, but I just want to know what prompted you to join the uniform service.
Alam mo, sir, 5 kami magkakapatid eh. Youngest ako. And honestly, ang pangarap ng nanay ko sa akin, maging pare.
Talaga?
So,
Kaya nandun pa rin yung pagmamahal. Kahit
lagi niya
paano.
akong dinadala sa simbahan. We pray and minsan pinapa-explain niya pa sa akin yung homily ng pare every time nung makakauwi kami. So, my mother's dream really for me, sa 5 magkakapatid, dahil ako yung bunso, magpapari ako. And nung growing up, naisip ko, pumasok ng Philippine Military Academy, parang it's very different eh.
So this is the first in your family? Wala
Yes,
kang tito,
it's the
wala
first in
kang...
I'm the first in the family who joined the uniform service. And then eventually, itinanong na sa akin to ni Senator Marcoleta. Sabi niya, did you graduate from the Philippine Military Academy? Paulit-ulit yan na-issue ng mga trolls din. And then I said, a few weeks before graduation, I had a case, I resigned, and then eventually, the opportunity for me to join the Coast Guard, pumasok ako ng Coast Guard. So that was 2005.
But we have different branches of uniform service, right?
Yes.
So, ang gusto ko lang atin tanungin is why Coast Guard? Why not why not Marines or
well, originally, if I was able to finish my studies sa academy, I should have joined the Philippine Navy.
Okay.
So Navy talaga yung gusto kong puntahan. But para sa akin, siguro God has a different plan for me. So I ended up being in the Coast Guard.
Wow. Kaya nga, sabi ko, dapat magpapare ka, di ba?
Yes, sir.
So there's the extreme opposite of what
Yes,
you're currently now and the one your family is planning. Minsan talaga ganun eh. You're a hot item nowadays, di ba? Dahil because of what you're doing as the spokesperson for the Philippine Coast Guard. A lot of people are saying na kailangan talaga maging aggressive tayo sa West Philippine Sea. What type of aggression do you think that we need to really put into not only words but actions? Pardon my word, no? You're not really aggressive. The other part is aggressive. So, what level of, let's say, an amount do you think that the country needs to put up in order to at least convey not only our message to the international community but to really assert our rights over the West Philippine Sea? Yung sinasabing EEZ, no? Marami kasing bagay na nagsasabing masyado tayong agresibo ngayon this time. So, ano po yung masasabi nyo doon sa mga taong nagsasabi? Wait lang, medyo agresibo naman ang Pilipinas ngayon.
Well, alam mo, sir, yan yung una ko ang tanong eh. How do we define the meaning of the word aggression. Or agresibo? Because kung tayo ang binubuli, if we are victim of aggression for so many years already, na hinaharas ang ordinaryong mangingisdang Pilipino, pinahihirapan ng Armed Forces of the Philippines for resupply operation, ang mga cute na Coast Guard vessels natin ay hinaharang, binabangga, and also subjected to water cannon. Ang tanong dyan, tayo ba talagang agresibo? Ngayon, under President Marcos, he supported the transparency efforts wherein we tell the Filipino people of what's happening and also the international community. I don't think that it is aggressive. I don't think that it is escalatory because we are just on the receiving end of the level of aggression na binibigay sa atin ng China. Speaking our truth, speaking our sharing to the world the incidents that are happening within our own exclusive economic zone, para sa akin, this is what we really need, no? For the Filipino people to understand and to be united na pag pinag-usapan ng West Philippine Sea, ang pinag-uusapan natin dito, issue natin bilang isang bansa.
Totoo, I agree with you, no? I think it's not really our side na dapat magkaroon tayo ng medyo toned down na response, no? The level of response should also commensurate the level of aggression. Especially if we're talking about our territory, di ba?
Yes, sir.
So which leads me to my next question. Kasi sabi ko nga, you are a hot item nowadays. Can you elaborate to us further, no? Kasi ang alam ko, the issue over West Philippine Sea has been there for quite some time.
Yes, sir.
But it reaches a level where our diplomatic relations with China is now being discussed. Among other things, baka daw magkaroon tayo ng yung hindi inaasahan na pagtatalikod sa bawat kung ano man yung relasyon natin with China because of what happened accordingly. Nung pumunta po kayo sa mga eskwelahan, I believe you're going around schools, di ba?
Yes, sir.
And to educate our students about
Yes,
West Philippine Sea. Others are saying that you overstep. Sabi nga, no, you overstep your boundary. What exactly is the do you think that because of that caricature that made China alarmed China to such an extent that it involves a lot of our politicians being attacked by China because of that caricature alone, and not necessarily because of the aggression, the level of aggression that continues to be felt by the Philippine government.
Alam mo, sir, para sa akin, this is a very good example of gaslighting. Nililito nila tayo sa real issue. Ang complaint ng Chinese Embassy was because of the caricature that I used daw in one of my lectures sa mga estudyante. Ngayon, himay-himayin natin. Una sa lahat, we're a democratic country. No? And my audience on that particular talk are students. We have academic freedom and we also have freedom of expression bilang isang demokratikong bansa. As to the caricature that I used, no? Ang tanong ko dyan, hindi naman ito official na press conference. It is not intended to, humiliate anybody. Again, this is just for academic discussion. Secondly, dun sa mga tao na politiko, no, nagigil sa caricature ko at sa pagbanggit ng pangalan ko sa mga nakaraang araw na to. Ang tanong ko, yung gigil ba na yan, talagang na-compensate na tayo dahil sa caricature na yan? I mean, is that caricature that I use is more than enough for the Chinese government to say na, sobra-sobra na ginawa ng Pilipinas sa amin dahil ginawa kami ng caricature. Compensated na ba tayo sa pag-water cannon sa mangingisdang Pilipino sa panghaharas sa atin sa loob ng maraming taon na? I don't think na masasabi natin sobra-sobra yung caricature sa pambababoy ng Chinese government sa ating karapatan sa West Philippine Sea.
Yung issue na to dominated, no? Yung
Public
discourse and even media circulation. In fact, it prompted Senate to file a resolution, no? I think correct me if I'm right, if I'm wrong, Commodore. Yung condemnation na gusto ng Senado is to declare persona non grata, no? Sa palagay mo, sino ba talaga yung nagsasalita dito sa ano? Kasi we're dealing with embassy, but we're still also continuing discussing with other yung diplomatic ties. Itong pagbibigay ng resolution o pag-aproba ng resolution, ito yung naging subject matter ng discussion na ito. Do you think that would be it's enough for the government to show our protest over what's happening over the West Philippine Sea by form of a resolution by the Senate? Would that...
Well, para sa akin, sir, no? First of all, I would like to thank the members of the Senate, particularly the leadership ni Senate President Tito Soto, Senator Kiko Pangilinan, who really took so much patience debating on the plenary about sa issue ng resolution na to. Senator Risa Ontiveros, Senator Ping Lacson, Senator Erwin Tulfo, lahat ng mga senador na sumuporta sa resolution na to. I think it clearly showed, no, where does the Senate as an institution stands pagdating sa usapin ng West Philippine Sea. Ibig sabihin, those very few senators who said differently, who said things differently, does not represent the Senate as a whole. No? Regarding sa question mo, sir, no, kung is this enough, I would like to see it in a way na...
because this is a response to the yung mga... sinasabi ng Chinese Embassy,
yes,
no, does not necessarily reflect our official position over the West Philippine Sea. Actually, this is a direct result of yung pagsabi, pagtitira ata, no, accordingly, no, ng mga Chinese Embassy so selected politicians who aired their position over the West Philippine Sea. Tama po ba? So,
yes, sir.
Yes,
para sa akin, sir, this is an exercise done by the legislative branch, no? And the President also recognized this as the executive, no? Na this is our democratic exercise. So if the legislative thinks of having that resolution, then there's no reason for the entire, the executive department to also meddle with such issues.
Lumabas din ng mga pahayag kamakailan, di ba? Ang one of the senators during the confirmation ng mga generals, no? Isa to sa magagaling ng mga veteranong legislator na Senator Marcoleta about
giving up.
Yes, the Kalayaan group of islands, no? Ang sabi is it's outside kasi gusto natin malaman talaga whether or not we only assert our sovereignty over the EEZ, no? Tama naman talaga ng may portion dyan sa group of Kalayaan Group of Islands are beyond our EEZ. So, what can you say about that? No, being the spokesperson for the PCG. I know you've been fighting for our rights there, but those islands that are not necessarily within the EEZ. So, ang sabi ng ating buting senador, why don't we, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm paraphrasing here, kasi he denied, just to be fair, he denied naman din talaga. Sabi na, that's not what I meant. But, taking into the exact sentence of Senator Marcoleta, what can you say about that? Like, give up na lang natin yung Kalayaan Group of Islands.
Well, una sa lahat, sir, I have tremendous respect to Senator Marcoleta. Yeah. As you said, sir, he is a very seasoned legislator. From lower house, ngayon senador na, representing a lot of voters who place him in the Senate. No? Para sa akin, Senator Marcoleta already responded to his own take nung CA confirmation. He countered everything that he said. Parang Senator Marcoleta versus Senator Marcoleta a few days after. So, kinontest niya na rin yung sinabi niya, no? But let me emphasize na there's no reason for us to give up. I support the next statements na ginawa na ni Senator Marcoleta. Yung sinabi niya mga areas na yan, of course, Pag-asa, Parola, Kota, and Lancam-K, totoo namang lagpas ito sa ating exclusive economic zone. And that forms part of the Kalayaan Island Group. The reason why I would like to highlight na we're not supposed to give it up kasi dahil itong mga areas na to, we have been in possession, no? Occupying those areas way back in the 70s. Secondly, kapag pumunta ka sa Pag-asa, kaya nga natin ini-invite si Senator Marcoleta at yung anak niya, si Congressman Marcoleta, to go to Pag-asa for them to experience, no? And see for themselves na meron tayong mga kababayan dito. Meron ditong existing local government.
Yes.
Municipality of Kalayaan. Para makita nila na these people deserves to be defended. Hindi natin pwede sabihin, hindi, we give it up kasi may mga bata rito and they represent the future of this country.
And we've been exercising our sovereign rights over these islands because sabi mo nga may mga LGU na doon, di ba?
Yes, sir.
So it's a kung tatanungin mo po ako, parang ang aking take is it's a separate issue from the EEZ. No? We're talking about EEZ. We're talking of, yung Kalayaan Group of Islands, we're talking about our already established sovereignty
effective
of the
control.
islands.
Yes,
ang
sir.
EEZ kasi, sa pagkakaalam ko, we won in the arbitral ruling, diba? Tama po ba?
Well, for the exclusive economic zone, sir, that is defined by the UNCLOS.
UNCLOS.
Wherein any coastal state measured from the baseline, the 200 nautical miles, that is your exclusive economic zone. So, tama naman yung sinabi niya. No? 200 nautical miles, that's your EEZ. Beyond that, hindi naman talaga natin masabing, hindi naman natin madi-deny na not outside EEZ. But our take on that is that we have been in possession of that as early as, way back, bago pa natin pinilmahan nga ang UNCLOS. No? And madagdag ko lang, sir, no? Alam mo, sir, I received so many messages, no, from the children and grandchildren ng mga Marines, ng mga sundalo na na-station doon nung dekada 70, dekada 80.
Anong lahat ba ng security agencies and all the instrumentalities of the I presume because meron tayong LGU.
Right now, sir, there are Coast Guard now in those areas. But try to imagine before. Wala pang Starlink noon. Wala pang sat phone noon. So it was really a challenge, no? Parang talagang you're risking your mental health para magstay ka doon, seeing nothing, disconnected from the world. So, ang mga kamag-anak nila express their support sa atin, no? Na maling sabing to give it up kasi parang sinabi mong walang saysay ang ginawang serbisyo ng kanilang mga ama at kanilang mga lolo sa pagtindig at pagbabantay ng mga isla na to sa ating Kalayaan Island Group.
You've been challenged with the debate, no? So, nagsabi ka naman na this is non-debatable. I agree with that, no? A lot of people have been saying that it's really our right to assert yung ating territorial integrity. But what really is the plan of PCG right now?
Well, if we're talking about the transparency efforts, sir, no? Para sa akin, sir, it's not enough that we expose the Chinese aggression sa media. It's not enough to tell our people
kasi parang let me cut you there, no? Sorry. Kasi na-establish na natin sa international community,
yes,
no?
sir.
EEZ is part of the part of the exclusive
Yes, sir.
economic zone. So it's more on our internal understanding.
Yes, sir.
Diba? So, yeah, again.
So, yan sir, no? It's not enough for us to expose all this. Kailangan natin, sir, ang strengthen is maintindihan ng ating kabataang Pilipino bakit natin ito tinitindigan. For a lot of interviews, narinig na natin si Justice Carpio saying, our fight in the West Philippine Sea is intergenerational. Ibig sabihin, whether we like it or not, ipapamana natin ito sa susunod na saling lahi ng Pilipino. Kung ang kabataan natin ngayon seems not to care, or not to be aware, or not to understand what we are fighting for, ibig sabihin, we cannot expect that in the long run, we're going to be victorious dito sa laban na to. That is the reason why we need to reach out to our youth. Otherwise, the efforts that we're doing right now will be futile and useless.
Yeah, I agree. Do you think it's worth to debate in public spaces issue on West Philippine Sea? Do you think it's worth the time, the debate?
Alam mo, para sa akin, sir, ulitin ko lang yung sinagot ko dyan. There's no reason for us to debate about something na alam naman nating atin na. Kung ipapublicize natin yung debate na yan, parang binibigyan lang natin ng punto ang China na ang posisyon natin is also questionable. Now, my second point is, if you're a member of Senate, what will be your position of the debate? Ang sasabihin mo, wala tayong basihan. Ang sasabihin mo, i-give up na natin yan. Right? You'll be violating your oath or your oath of office as a member of the Senate. So, there's no reason for us to debate about that. It was already decided by the 2016 Arbitral Award. We already have a Philippine Maritime Zones Act na ipinasa ng 19th Congress. So, what is it for us to debate about?
Mas maganda na lang puntahan yung mga areas na to,
Yes, sir.
para makita natin kung gaano these are land areas, islands as you may call it, with a thriving and existing Filipino
Yes, sir.
communities. Tama. At marami pa tayong pag-uusapan kasama si PCG Spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea, Commodore Jay Tarriela, sa pagbabalik ng In ConverZation.
Sila ang mga hinalal ng taong bayan upang maisulong ang kaunlaran sa bayan at maiangat ang antas ng kabuhayan ng mamamayang Pilipino. Kasama si Miss Cathy Villar, ating kilalanin ang Senado ng Pilipinas tuwing Linggo alas 9:30 ng umaga.
Bagong Pilipinas. Mahalaga ang kapakanan ng bawat isa. Lahat ng aspeto ng lipunan pinagtutuunan ng pansin ng pamahalaan at ni Pangulong Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. Bagong Pilipinas, PBBM, Lingkod ng Bayan. Tuwing Linggo, alas 8:30 ng umaga.
At nagpapatuloy ang In ConverZation. Kasama pa rin natin si PCG Spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea, Commodore Jay Tarriela. Just like to know, of course, you're a spokesperson. So naturally, your job is to convey the message to the
Yes, sir.
people. So how do you balance it out? Kasi alam ko, when it comes to certain areas of concern over the West Philippine Sea, merong mga classified information dyan eh. So how do you balance between that keeping some information hidden because we want to also protect our security issues, di ba? From that of your job to be constantly updating the public as a spokesperson for PCG.
Well, to be honest with you, sir, hindi naman talaga tayo masasabi mong yung lahat ng sasabihin natin, ilalabas natin all out, no?
Yeah.
There are, I agree with you, there are some information that we need to keep, particularly if it would
And especially
undermine.
pag may mga, we're talking about an existing bilateral agreements,
Yes, sir.
di ba? How do you navigate being a spokesperson from that of maybe overstepping some
Yes, sir.
issues, no?
So there are information, sir, na hindi naman yan dinidesisyonan agad sa level natin, no? Of course, we communicate it to the National Task Force for the West Philippine Sea.
Right.
And those information we would be able to get some feedback from those concerned government agencies. Kung itong informasyon na to has to be brought out to the public, or this information should be subjected to embargo.
Encountered also din, di ba? Oo, to be encountered, no? Yung mga disinformation. So, basically what you're saying is that there's also steps
Yes, sir.
before you come out with
Yes.
then information.
Yes, sir.
No?
This is not a unilateral thing na pag sinabing, oh, eto, nakuha ng Coast Guard, ilabas na natin. That's not how it works pagdating sa ating messaging, sir.
So, kasi kailangan mo pang i-verify, di ba?
Yes, sir.
Pero ang challenge ngayon is may mga kasama tayo dito sa bansa, unfortunately, na kailangan mong i-counter din yung mga fake news na lumalabas na nasusuportahan yung kabilang naratibo.
Yes, sir. Totoo yan. And with regard to countering itong mga disinformation na ganito. For example, yung argument na kaya daw pala tayo nawa-water cannon at nahaharas ng China, it's because for the Coast Guard, we choose to get near sa occupied maritime features at hindi daw tayo lumalapit sa Malaysia at Vietnam. That's not entirely true. No? We don't get close sa mga maritime occupied features ng illegally occupied ng China. The same thing with Malaysia and Vietnam. It is the Chinese maritime forces who gets closer sa ating mga maritime features and harasses our own Filipino fishermen and government vessels.
So, what is the most challenging part of your job, Commodore Jay? Especially when tension over the West Philippine Sea arises. Ano yung, kasi you really have to go through a lot of steps pa, no? I mean, before you come out in the media, no? So, when there's an occasion na meron talagang heightened tension dyan over the West Philippine Sea. As a spokesperson, would you consider that? What's the most challenging part of doing your job? No?
Well, ang guidance naman ng ating National Security Advisor, General Eduardo Año, is that if there's really an incident that would, yung mataas talaga ang tension, like for example, last August, yung nagbanggaan ng China Coast Guard and the PLA Navy warship. Ang mga ganitong response natin is for us to immediately bring out to the public. But of course, you have to inform the NTF-WPS. No? Para sa akin, I've been doing this job for almost 3 years already, sir. No? As spokesperson of the Coast Guard for the West Philippine Sea. And nasanay na ako. I learned to navigate already in engaging with other concerned government agencies and getting the support for a particular statement to comes out. No? But ang pinakamahirap dito, sir, sa trabaho ko, is when you hear some of our politicians undermining our own position or denying a particular incident that happened. Para sa akin, that's the most frustrating and heartbreaking experience palagi.
So you're also adapting the new strategy, no? Kasi you don't, of course, as a spokesperson, you're not be expected to appear every day of the week, no? So what are the strategies in order to sustain the messaging and be able to send across as wider audience as possible? So what is now because of this emerging social media, so what's now the strategy of the PCG in order to sustain these messages?
Well, para sa akin, sir, kaya nga ako, sir, I find it very weird kapag sinasabi ng China na hindi, lahat ng messaging ng Coast Guard scripted to. Lahat ng insidente na nangyari sa West Philippine Sea, scripted to. Kasi pag sinabi nating scripted, kung alam nyo palang scripted, bakit kayo nang haras? Right? If you anticipated that this particular operation is scripted, bakit nyo yung water cannon? Bakit nyo pinipiling maging kalaban lagi dun sa
Which
scripted
leads me to my
story?
next question. How do you deal with, for example, those narratives that are obviously fake, that actually echoes the narrative of the other party? How do you combat that?
Alam mo, ngayon, sir, napakadali ng...
May social media ngayon.
Yes, sir. I have to use all the social media platforms. Dahil alam naman natin ngayon, sir, dahil ang mga kababayan natin talagang attached sa social media. So, kapag may isang politiko, social media influencer, or whoever who said things differently that undermines our position, I would always respond back. I would count number of hours. Asahan mo,
So,
sasagutin
busy-busy ka
kita.
talaga.
Sa buong araw na to, I'll make sure that all of those social media platforms that we are utilizing will be able to counter such lie. Kasi para sa akin, if we failed to address all this misinformation, baka magkaroon ng maling pagkakaintindi ang ating mga kababayang Pilipino.
May mga mayroong panukalang batas ngayon sa House of Representatives to incorporate the study of West Philippine Sea so that it would be easier for us to educate our young people, no? Na itong EEZ talagang atin to dahil recognized by the UNCLOS, no? Recognized, we won the arbitral award in 2016. So I think it has to pass on to the next generation. Ito isa sa mga sinasabi nating institutionalize yung fight natin over our territory and and sovereignty. Ang nakikita ko kasi ngayon sa social media landscape is that no matter how truthful the information is, basta ikaw mauna. Ganun ngayon paunahan ngayon
Yes, sir.
Paunahan ngayon ng impormasyon ng bato. O regardless kung sinong natamaan mo o kung totoo ba to or makakasakit ka ba, no? Sa damdamin ng isang tao. In this case, ang integridad ng ating bansang Pilipinas, no? So how do you actually deal with that?
Alam mo sir, ang lamang natin sa ganitong information operation is that meron tayo laging resibo.
Okay.
We have photos, we have videos. And our factual narrative, kahit pa sabing it will take hours bago lumabas, nauna ang China or nauna ang kanilang mga trolls, it doesn't really matter dahil we have amplifiers of truth, no? We always embed journalists, we always embed reporters. At kapag inilabas na sa mainstream media yan, kahit anong dami ng kasinunghalingan, pagdi-deny ng Chinese government as to particular incident happen, it will be easier for us to counter it dahil meron tayo laging resibo para sabihin hindi yan totoo.
Kaya nga dapat suportahan. I myself, I'm just sharing to you my personal take on this. Kaya nga I think it's really our obligation as Filipino citizens to really support, no, yung panawagan natin na hindi lang intindihin kung ano yung mga nuances na nangyari sa politika man lang o sa because this is really a passed on wealth. It does not end with our generation alone. This will be passed on to our children. So let's continue on fighting for our sovereign rights and our territorial integrity.
Yes, sir.
Hindi mo kailangan manumpa sa isang sa isang posisyon na kung saan ka naluklok, no? Ito ay civil duty nga ng bawat isa sa atin. So I think sa bahaging ito, bibigyang linaw natin ng kasagutan ng karamihan. Of course, number one, yung issue ng miseducation.
Yes, sir.
No? Yung under-education. Meron ba kayong sinasabing under-educated dun over the West Philippine Sea? Yung kulang yung kanilang saliksik at understanding, no? Meron naman ata ganun, no?
Pwede rin, sir. Kasi, for example, sir, randomly, kahit sa mga staff mo, sir, gawin mo to. Tanungin mo, saan ang West Philippine Sea? Parang yung biglaang tanong na gano'n, maghahang lahat. Parang, saan nga ba West Philippine Sea? Nasa Palawan lang ba yan? Nasa Zambales lang ba yan?
So it's not really about miseducation or misinformation din, no? We really need portion din.
Yes, sir. We really need to intensify our information campaign pagdating sa West Philippine Sea.
Yes.
May mga Pilipinong generally aware but not deeply comprehended kung ano ang pinaglalaban natin.
Sa puntong ito, bibigyang linaw at sasagutin ng ating guest ang mga tanong ng publiko sa iba't ibang issue. Handa ka na ba, Spokes J?
Tanong lang po, may mga nagsasabi po na maliit lang ang Pilipinas. Wala tayong laban. Paano ninyo sinasagot yung ganitong pananaw?
Alam mo sir, yung mga ganyang tanong, parang yan yung defeatist mindset Na parang sinabi natin, masyadong malaki ang China. Masyadong malakas ang China, mayaman ang China. Mahirap lang tayo, mahina ang armed force sa Philippines. Kaya ipamigay na lang natin. Are we going to do that? Are we going to accept the fact na maliit tayo, mahina tayo, ipamigay na lang natin ang West Philippine Sea? I mean, I always engage ang ating mga estudyante. I always remind them, we were colonized by Spain for more than 300 years. Alam natin kung gaano kahaba ang ating kasaysayan pagdating sa pagtindig sa ating kalayaan at ating soberanya. Imagine, that's 3 centuries. Etong laban natin sa West Philippine Sea, hindi pa yata nakakaisang century. Ngayon, we are looking at ourselves as mahina at parang talo na. And secondly, hindi ko naman sinasabing we respond militarily, no? Because it's against the 1987 Constitution. We renounced war as our foreign policy.
Yeah,
no? So, what we're just doing right now is we're exposing to the world. At para magkaisa tayo, and then at the same time to get the support of the international community. To convince China that they are violating the international law.
Spokes Jay, how do you protect your team po and yourself from online harassments while staying vocal and visible?
Alam mo sir, kung bibilangin ko lang siguro ang harassment, hindi lang harassment, even death threats, no? Sa social media na ibinabato sa akin, i-message sa mga social media platforms, even to my own personal number. Para sa akin, tinanggap ko na to eh. I cannot get away from those harassment and threats. It's because I've been very visible publicly. As to my family, we're surviving.
Kasi usong-uso yan,
tinanggap
trolling
na namin itong ganitong trolling, sir.
Trolling, no? So you deal with that
Yes,
on a personal and then professional level.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
How do you measure success in your role as PCG spokesperson?
Alam mo sir, 3 years ago, kapag pumunta ako sa mga universities, lalo na sa Mindanao, Visayas, pag sinabi mong WPS, hindi pa nila magigets eh. Hindi pa nila alam kung anong West Philippine Sea. But right now, you go in different parts of the country. You mentioned WPS. Mula bata hanggang matanda, nakapag-aral, mayaman o mahirap, West Philippine Sea. They know the WPS what stands for. Second, para sa akin, it's enough, no, na masabi kong, I did something good for this country. Na alam na ng ating mga kababayang Pilipino ang West Philippine Sea. The second one is, alam mo sir, dati, kapag may insidente sa West Philippine Sea, all of the diplomatic missions, ang sasabihin lang nila lagi sa expression of support nila, the Embassy of Blanc is concerned about the tension happening in the South China Sea. Pero ngayon sir, iba na. If we're going to look at the statement of the embassies, hindi na nila sinasabing concern, no? Hindi na ngayon parang si Voldemort ang China, a person that cannot be named. They are now identifying. Hindi na siya pang Harry Potter. Ano na talaga ngayon? The China Coast Guard, People's Republic of China, these embassies got the confidence, no, to call out Chinese aggression because of what we did of almost 3 years of doing transparency. And third, para sa akin sir, ang pinakamahalaga sa lahat, if you're kasi sabi ng mga tao, minsan makikita mo kasi sa social media, parang akala mo mas maraming nagagalit sa akin kaysa natutuwa, right? But every time I go to different public places, kahit kasama ko ang pamilya ko, I'm not wearing uniform, but randomly, people will approach me, hindi naman ako mumurahin, at sasabihin kong, thank you very much sir for your service, thanking me for what I do. Never in my life pa naman na may lumapit sa aking Pilipino, minura ko at sabing magkaagera or something, mga linyahan ng trolls. And every day, every time na may makikita akong stranger thanking me for what I do, it makes me realize, no, na I'm doing something good for this country.
I'm not sure if you're at liberty or you're the right person to ask you this question, but being a Filipino, no, minus your role ngayon as the PCG spokesperson, do you think it would come to that seriously? Magkakagera? Yung mga...
Alam mo sir, ang issue ng West Philippine Sea and the entire South China Sea, this is so complex. No?
Kasi meron pang mga claimant dyan.
Yes.
Not only the Philippines, di ba?
This is not just
Malaysia,
a battle between
Vietnam,
Philippines and China. As you said, sir, no, they also have to deal with Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, and even sa Natuna Island dahil pumasok sa 9-dash line ng Indonesia. And if you're China right now, I don't think that is something that you really wanted to have.
Yeah.
Dahil economic development naman talaga ang gusto ng China at ng lahat ng bansa sa Southeast Asia. And alam nila na kapag nagkaroon ng kaguluhan dito, ang maapektuhan mismo is the entire global economy.
Yeah.
So
that is not to the benefit of course of China.
Yes.
Diba? I'm sure China does not also want to engage in an active combat with other countries, especially if you're talking about not only one country, but many other countries who claim sovereignty or jurisdiction over this contested area of waters. Diba?
Ang isa pang argument ko dyan, sir, ang sabi ni dating Pangulong Duterte, kapag tinatanong siya sa West Philippine Sea, hindi niya ito matitindigan kasi in a matter of days, magkakagera, kaya tayong sakupin ng China. Magtatatlong taon na pinaninindigan ni Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr.
Not an inch of our territory.
Not an inch of our territory. Hindi pa naman po nagkagera.
Sabi ko nga, parang it will not only be a disadvantage to the Philippines, it is also, more so, to China.
Yes,
diba?
sir.
Okay. So, sa ating pagbabalik, mas kilalanin natin ang pinakabatang komodor dito sa In ConverZation.
Balitang nakala.
Mamulat ng kanyang mga si Presidente at si
Binantayan. Sinuri. Nilatag at inihayag. 13 sa tanghali. Kasama sina Greg Gregorio, Naj Miravalles at Zai Chua. 13 sa tanghali sa ganap na alauna dito sa IBC 13.
Yung tinago po nila sa akin, yung bata.
Hindi ko po iuurong yung kaso. Sinabi ko na mamubulok sa kulungan.
Unang-una po, hindi po normal para sa amin yung ganitong buhay.
Sa tuwing may inaapi, kami ang kakampi ng katotohanan at katarungan.
Ito ang programa kung saan laging patas ang batas.
Legally Speaking, tuwing linggo, 3:00 ng hapon.
Patuloy kayong nakasubaybay sa In ConverZation. Napag-usapan na natin ang mga maiinit na usaping kinakaharap ng Philippine Coast Guard. Ngayon, kilalanin naman nating maigi ang tagapagsalita ng ahensya. Sino nga ba si Commodore Jay Tarriela? So Commodore, napag-usapan na natin your role being as PCG and all of the hard stuff that surrounds your being a spokesperson. Gusto natin malaman, how were you when you during your younger
growing
years?
Up years ko,
yung
sir.
growing up years, what exactly do you intend to be? I'm sure hindi mo naisip na
Yes, sir.
nababatoy kusing ka ng isang isang bansa, no?
Yes, sir. Alam mo ako, sir, minsan, of course, you know Congressman Odi Tarriela, no?
Okay,
Ito
yeah.
Odi. Lagi nire-relate na eto si Commodore Tarriela related kay Congressman Odi Tarriela. So some of the trolls are saying na I came from a very good life as well kasi congressman daw yung uncle ko. But para sa akin, hindi nila alam na I grew up basically in Tondo, Manila.
Oh.
Yes.
Talaga?
I spent my entire childhood in Tondo, Manila. Parang si Sir Egan nga, nung in-interview niya, saan sa Tondo? Binanggit ko, I'm also a product of public school sa Tondo, Manila. And when I decided to join the Philippine Military Academy, that's the only time na, it changed my life as to what I am right now.
So talaga, so that's news to me, hindi ko, Pero I'm sure alam ko na you love your job, you love what you're doing, pero tayo kasi meron ding mga simpleng bagay nagpapasaya sa atin, di ba? So, ano yung nagpapasaya kay Commodore Jay Tarriela? Yung mga simpleng bagay na ano?
Para sa akin, ang mag-spend lang ng weekend with my family is more than enough. I don't play golf. I don't, spend much of my time alone kapag weekend. I enjoy the company of my kids and also my wife, and para sa akin, it's more than enough.
Yeah, distressing eh.
Despite of the difficulties na pinagdadaanan ko araw-araw.
Sabi ko nga, it will take one person to love really what he is doing, no? To continue on doing what he's doing. Kasi alam mo, sa case mo, ang daming mga trolls, di ba? So you must have had that love for the country that keeps you going.
And that's also a question na kapag pinag-uusapan namin ng mga anak ko, my kids, ang age sila 16, 13, and 9, no? Ang tanong nila, Daddy, are you still okay? Siyempre, nakikita nila social media. And ang tanong nila, if you're going to step down as spokesperson who's going to do your job, parang sinabi mo nga, you'll be giving up the 3 years of what you did for this country to make the Filipino aware of what's happening in the West Philippine Sea. So, ang usapan lang namin, Daddy, you should just keep on doing this.
Yeah.
Kaya sabi ko, I'll just take the punches para ang West Philippine Sea, patuloy pa rin natin pag-uusapan at sisiguraduhin natin hindi ito papabayaan ng kahit na sino pa mga administrasyon in the next coming years.
So what exactly do you do? So do you have, kasi ako, before I go to the office, pupunta ako ng kasi parang feeling ko battlefield yun di ba? Lalo na pag nasa serbisyo publiko ka. Problema talaga, walang iakyat sa'yo na problema. Sabi nga ng lolo ko, kung walang aakyat sa'yo ng problema, ibig sabihin, you're not doing something good.
Yes.
Kung the more na may umaakyat sa'yo na problema ang inaabot sa'yo, magpasalamat ka. Kasi ibig sabihin, may tiwala sa'yong tao, or may nagagawa ka at alam nilang nasusolusyonan sila. Pero ako kasi every time I go to the office, I always keep that in mind of what my grandfather told me. Ikaw, what's your morning routine? Do you have like a morning routine before you go to the office? At least to maintain sanity. No?
Well, for my morning routine, sir, I need to stay fit. So, for my wife and me, we usually walk or jog every morning. And then that's it. That's how we start our day. And then enjoy our coffee
distressing
together.
din, di ba?
Yes.
Okay, distressing din. Kasi talagang mahirap itong ganitong trabaho. Especially you're constantly being interviewed. No? You're constantly being sought by the media. Especially, issue natin dito is paano hindi lang labanan yung naratibo, but how to educate our people. No? So, is there something like a trivia about yourself that nobody actually, the public does not know, na you want to share?
Siguro para sa akin, sir, ngayon lang ako natanong ng ganitong tanong, pero natatawa lang ako. Para sa akin, ang trivia na maganda i-share sa public, na even my mother would always remember, kapag piyesta ng Tondo, di ba sir, laging may mga pa-stage dyan, mag-invite ng artista, ganyan. Yung karinderya ng nanay ko, katapat lang lagi yung stage na ginagawa to celebrate the Feast of Santo Niño sa Tondo. And pagdating ng hapon, and my childhood friends would also remember this. Mahilig ako mag-join ng boxing para sa 20 pesos.
Talaga? So, yan? Hobby lang yan? Or
sir?
Hobby or talaga gusto mo?
Kasi sabi nila, you'll be getting 20 pesos eh. So, dahil doon, sumasali ko ng boxing doon sa stage na yon para sa 20 pesos every time na piyesta. Pero I stopped doing that nung medyo teenage na ako. Pero nung bata ako, I always do that.
At least hindi na ngayon 20 pesos dapat. Okay, so I think for last question lang, the country wants to know, what is your vision and what do you want to see the future, itong sitwasyon natin, especially the West Philippine Sea. What do you hope to see?
Alam mo, para sa akin, sir, ang vision ko talaga is kahit saan ka pumunta, dapat pag pinag-usapan natin ang kahit na anong teritoryo ng Pilipinas, dapat united tayo lahat. Mapa West Philippine Sea yan, Eastern Seaboard, sa southern part ng bansa, or even up north. Pag Pilipinas, Pilipino ka, nagkakaisa tayo. It is very unfortunate na meron pa rin tayong regionalistic appreciation of things. Na parang pag sinabing, taga Mindanao ako, malayo ang West Philippine Sea, wala sa akin yan kasi it doesn't really concern us from Mindanao. Para sa akin, yun yung dapat nating ma-develop bilang isang bansa na magkaroon tayo ng pagkakaisa. We should look at everyone else na Pilipino ka, kahit Bisaya ka, Mindanaoan ka, Taga-Luzon ka, Ilocano ka, Muslim ka, Kristiyano ka, Pilipino tayo lahat. Nagkakaisa tayo. Ito dapat yung paninindigan natin na hindi nasusway ng politika. Whether you supported, the liberals or former President Duterte or President Marcos, pag pinag-usapan ng Pilipino, walang kulay dito ng politika. Dapat tindigan nating lahat to. Dahil, again, Iisa lang ang bansa natin at tayong lahat ay Pilipino.
And with that, we do share your hopes for the Philippines, no? Kasama nyo kami. I'm sure marami pong Pilipino na nakikiisa sa inyong panawagan. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Saludo po kami sa iyo. Mabuhay po kayo.
Thank you, sir.
At dyan nagtatapos ang isang oras ng talakayang tapat at may paninindigan. Patuloy tayong makialam at siyasatin ang mga ginagawa ng ating mga lingkod bayan. Dahil mahalaga ang papel ng mga ahensya ng gobyerno para sa kapakanan at pag-unlad ng bawat Pilipino. Hanggang sa muli, ako po si Lanao del Sur, 1st District Representative Zia Alonto Adiong. At ito ang In ConverZation.